Okay, we'll go live on Facebook.
Yay!
Yeah, I'm so excited for this.
Oh, I just want to get my tea. That's it.
Okay, we're live. It's all good.
We never mind. I have.
All right, welcome everyone to episode number 7 of the Blossoming into You series. I'm your host Mika Lau, and on today's episode, we have with us joining Cissa. She's originally from Brazil, and now she's traveling in Oregon as we speak. And we are going to be diving into some really exciting, juicy topic today, especially around what it's like to be dating as a highly conscious, highly evolved woman, woman that can see into past lives, that can see into beyond the physical realm, and what that would be like. I'm very curious, and I cannot wait to dive into this topic. With
Yeah,
that being said, Sissa, welcome. I'm so excited to have you.
thank you very much. It's honestly a big pleasure to be sharing about this. Not only because, well, I'll be able to get some compassion here from my friend and able to open up, but also because I understand that we're going through a big awakening right now, and there are some things that might start to pop up into people's life that I don't know if like psychology and even like society is completely aware and open to embrace and bring peace to this part of our heart, which is karmic relations.
Mm,
You know,
mhm,
so my name is Cissa Mancuso. I work with meta hypnose. Um, with meta hypnose, I can find roots of symptoms and heal symptoms or disease or emotional blockages, mental blockages, and even spiritual. So I'm gonna open up a little bit about how was my healing and how that went, because even though I have my clients, I'm also a human and I also had to work on myself. So I had a big awakening like 3 years ago, more or less, like big awakening. I was always awake, but this was like on my face. And this happened together with meeting a man. This is a man that happened to be really important to me in my life and in my lives. So this I happened to find a man that I had a karmic relation. It was always with a lot of like trouble. I could never actually meet him. We never been together for many days, honestly. And there was something like blocking us to meet, and that
mm,
was so weird. I was like, I'm gonna find out what this is. And this actually took me to a big journey where I ended up graduating on meta hypnosis and finding out about all this. So what happens when you are dating someone and you like the dude, but you don't really know why you feel so much? Why is that so intense? Why? And then
mhm,
you go through a spiritual awakening and you start remembering that you've been with that man before. You start remembering like fights that maybe you had or big dramas that you had on the past.
oh my
And
god, that's so wild and
it's
so interesting. Like when you remember the past lives, did you see him as like a different person but the same essence? Like how does that work?
well, I saw my life in Africa. I saw my life, with him. I saw my life in like I don't know if it's like France or something like that, but we kind of speak French. And look, guys, we were both men there.
Mm,
I don't even think we were a couple there, but there was
mhm,
again a karmic relationship
mm,
again. And then I remember us like in United States too. Like I had a life in United States. So you start remembering all that, and then out of the sudden like phrases that you guys speak or things like specific phrases or things that like were completely out of sense, out of the sudden make sense, of course, because there's something there to heal, something there to work, right? And I even
mhm,
remember like a life of us like before Christ. Like this is way back. So imagine like you're just a girl awakening, and then you have to deal not only with the drama of not being able to see the guy that you like, but then you realize that you have dramas that go like way back, and you have to solve that too, like with what heart and with what mind, and
mhm,
with what therapist,
mhm,
who is
mhm,
gonna like you might even think that you're just going nuts if you don't
right.
get like the right therapist. They might put you on pills. You're schizophrenic, right? but to just
Yeah,
listening.
I think this is such an important topic, and I'm so glad we are opening up space to talk about this. Is because like a lot of the times when it's beyond the scope of understanding in our today's like science background or our technology or whatever you want to call it, if it's beyond that scope, we can so easily categorize that as you're going crazy, like what are you talking about? But if it's deep down resonating with our soul at a like a level beyond the physical realm, then we get to have a safe space to explore that, to discover that, like to really lean in and okay, what is this about? So how did you get the support to do this work, Sissa? Like, I mean, you mentioned having the right therapist and the people that you can talk to, but how did you go about leaning in and discovering more about yourself in this aspect?
Well, there was like a big moment in my life where I had to, so because I understand I'm a spiritual being, have a human existence.
Mm,
So this already to realize this was a big um, work on my own self, right? Like I am someone that since I'm very young, I develop myself in many ways and my self confidence and my like self structure. And also like I have my guides, I have my practices, so I have a whole bunch of tools that support me on this journey. Let's say I would not be able to live it if I wasn't ready for it, even though I thought I wasn't ready, you know, it was quite intense. But um I always had a lot of support for sure. um I'm not the only light worker, and I'm also not the only person awakened, and I'm also not the only person that could see these lives on me.
mhm,
So throughout my discovery of my own self, I had people telling me about other facts, about this life in the United States where I was a jazz singer, and nowadays I sing jazz, you know. So of course, like there are things that I brought, and I can see myself, and like this is my soul. I did not forget all the things that I've learned so long, right?
mhm,
So
mhm,
like I was a pianist in my last life, and in this life I'm like 8 years old playing Beethoven. Like, oh, she's a genius, right? No, like I already had this knowledge. So you have some hints, you know, type of thing. But also I had very well like persons that already done a lot on their own work, and they can see these things too. So you
mhm.
start tapping on, it's like when you're like teenager and you don't really know what's up, and you're like, what's going on? It's something like that. It's just a new phase, you know. So you go tapping, you go discovering, and the more you discover, you go unfolding. But like the important thing to me was when I had to decide if I wanted to choose like love and light, or if I wanted to just be egoical and have vengeance and go to darkness attitudes, you know, which are all right too, you know. People take different paths to learn whatever they have to learn. I choose love.
Let's talk more about this
Yeah.
because to a lot of our listeners, maybe even like someone that haven't followed either of us for a while and they're just stumbling onto this conversation and this is totally new to them. What is it? What does it even mean to be spiritually awakened? What does it mean to be leading with love, being living a love inspired life versus one that's inspired by egoic desires and tell us more of what that means to you, how that looks like on a more tangible practical way.
Well, it's simple. Let's say you love someone, right? And
Mm-hmm.
you discover that someone really hurted you, like the worst you can imagine, like cheated, lied, everything, right? You just want to kill that person because it hurt so much, right? Who'd ever felt that? And then you have some options to do with that. You can let that bad feeling grow, hurt back that person, bring revenge, destroy the relation, hire some witch, hire someone to kill the, you know, you can go to those type of things. Or you can try to understand why does that hurt and heal that. Heal with love. And don't get me wrong, love might sound beautiful, but to act with courage and with love is not easy. You really have to sit on your moral, on your virtues, on everything that is important to you, to transcend, right, with love things, real love, true love. That's the thing that I had to do on this relation. So like this relation was really hard to me because it really pushed my buttons to be really bad, honestly. It really pushed me in all sides to be bad, to do bad things to my own self and to that person and to other persons that were involved. And then I said, look, if I already see that we've been bothering each other life after life after life, why I'm just gonna continue this if I know it's gonna hit on my back again? So that's when you step up and I choose love. You step up and you get like a whole bunch of new perspective of life, of growth, of abundance, of a whole bunch of stuff that I had to learn with this relation taught me to my own life. So that's when I say love is a path.
Mm,
It's the path that I choose.
got
And it's
it.
really important to have that in mind because our choices, they do have consequences. And sometimes it's consequence that you're not gonna live in this life. Come
That's
after you.
powerful. Yeah, and it's all it's like one of the laws of the universe, right? What you give out always come back. Maybe not this life, but in your next life. And this is really the concept of karma, I believe. But I'm really curious. Okay, before I ask you this question, is that basically what I heard you say is that you choosing to lead with love is to be able to step all the way back to look at the bigger picture, not so much like a very narrow way of looking at things, but looking at the bigger picture and choosing to come from a place of unconditional love, regardless of what the conditions are, regardless of what the other person is or is not doing or saying to you. But I'm curious to know about the dynamics between you and this person that you have karmic relationships with. Does he is he at your level of consciousness as well, or like evolution where he is seeing, understanding that you guys have a past together, or he's totally disconnected from that and you are the only one in the equation that
Well,
sees into this?
he's
Mm-hmm.
awakened man, but I'm not sure if he's so I had to have a lot of courage to walk this path. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of courage. And I don't know if he had the same courage. Right now we're not even talking anymore, so I can't really know, you know. But in the end, like when you say like unconditional love and all that, it can sound like, oh, how of a saint she is, or how of a how high she is, or something like that. But this is not unconditional love for him.
Mm-hmm.
This is unconditional love to my own self also. I did this to him, of course, but in the end, I was healing my own self. This whole love, this whole big thing that I had with him, actually, he was kind of a teacher to teach me about this powerful tool that I have. Because now I can, like, if I could go through that, which was really hurtful, I can go through anything. I'm a warrior. You know?
Yeah,
This
I
whole
love this.
process, this whole process just like taught me to choose love and love and love and love, and how that can be like such a big teacher. And it can sound not touchable, and it will sound untouchable until you walk the path. It's not
Mm-hmm.
something that you can really touch. It's so personal.
Yeah, and with the intention of conversations like these, like the that I'm doing the show, Cissa, like blossoming into you, it's we can listen to other stories like over and over again, but it isn't until when we personally walk the talk and experience the pain, like go through the valleys, the shadow, face off the deepest pain, and that's when we fully can embody the wisdom that wants to surface through us. So, but at the same time, though, like listening to conversations like this, it's an opening. It creates an opening for you to discover maybe parts of yourself or parts of your journey that maybe you haven't made a connection to. So there's really powerful benefits either way. So tell me more. What is the love that you're experiencing now for yourself as a result of this relationship with this person?
Well, I'm not completely 100% healed from that, because I still have a lot of hard time on forgiving.
Mm,
So this is the time that I am right now, is the forgiving time, right? To forgive, including my own self, to have let it. So many bad things happened to me. Honestly, it was some things were really dirty, were really hurtful, and I have to forgive myself also on that. And then I have to forgive all the other persons that were around, and I have to forgive not only knowing now what happened in this life. I have to forgive being conscious of so much.
mhm,
It's like deep, man.
mm.
So deep when you face that. And like once you're conscious, you can't really go back to some stuff. So it takes so much courage.
So forgiveness, what
Yeah.
is the conversation that you're having with yourself that feels this need to forgive? Like, what do you tell yourself around forgiveness?
Well, this morning I was meditating about it, and I think that I will be able to forgive once I clean all the shadows that were created for so long.
Hmm.
That's what I'm doing right now. So again, I choose love, to love myself, to heal these shadows. Because I can just say, yeah, I'm sorry, or yeah, I forgive you. But you know what? Maybe the other person is gonna believe, but you cannot lie to your own self.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even
I'm in total alignment with what you're saying, Sissa. And this is like this to me is the next level of spiritual growth. And what you're essentially doing is sitting in the fire and not just bypassing the middle part where it gets painful, it gets messy, where it gets ugly, where a lot of spiritually like ambitious people tend to do, which I've been there myself in the past, where I skip the middle part and I jump straight into trying to forgive, compassion, and moving on, focusing on the positive. But that doesn't work. Like what you just said, the way to get to the forgiveness is actually sitting in the fire, being with the deepest darkest pain, why we put ourselves in those positions where we did get hurt. Is the byproduct of all of that is the forgiveness. It's not something that we force it to happen. It's not something that we say we're gonna forgive, but it happens as a byproduct of you doing the healing, you feeling through all of the deepest darkest pain.
yes.
It's a
So that's why, like, I wanted to talk about the work of another friends of mine. I called Martine. He's a light worker, and I have
Mhm.
another friend of mine. She's a glutine. She's my friend and my therapist. She also does the same therapy I do, meta. So I have had the help of so much people, because sometimes you have a lot of shadows, and it's hard to stand up. So when you have like um prepared people to be dealing with this type of things and healing these deep, deep, deep shadows, that's when you forgive, and that's when you actually free yourself with love. Because if not, you're just gonna be having that hurting, hurting, hurting. So this was like the conclusion I got this morning before this class, like this meeting,
Mhm.
um, which is a class too. Don't get me wrong.
It is in a way. Yeah.
um, yeah, I have to heal the shadows, not because I'm a saint and I'm so good and I'm Mary or I'm Jesus or Shiva or whoever it is. No, it's because I love myself. I am what I am. Whatever I am what I am. And I will only be free if I free myself. If I get stuck on things that were not doing me good, or things that I already taught me the lesson I had to learn.
Yeah, and I've came across this concept all parts of ourselves, the dark and the light, it's all part of us. And these unintegrated, unhealed aspects of ourselves, the ones in the shadow, to integrate it and incorporate it into our a whole, like into wholeness, that's like a part of our power. It's being reclaimed. We become more powerful the more we integrate and heal and process these shadowy parts of ourselves, and we have a bigger capacity to offer unconditional love and acceptance the more we can sit in the fire with these shadows, is how I see it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, the more love I have, honestly, I don't even have a doubt that a beautiful man is gonna come on my way. Because I'm just an amazing woman too, So that's what is gonna happen. So I'm not even I don't even have doubt on that, because if I was able to do all this healing on, like, not on my own, but like having friends, but if I was able to do that, who doesn't want to be with me then? Seriously.
Exactly. And you're coming from a place of you're not needing anything from him.
If I have the ability to love like this, honestly, who doesn't want true love? Tell me.
Mhm. I feel it. I just feel that love you just ripple through your being all the way across across the border into California, and I felt it across the screen.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so powerful. Oh, everything about this conversation, I just feel like it's the leading edge, it's the cutting edge that really like sets the ground for what true love really looks like in the next like generations to come. It's when we are coming from a place of wholeness and no longer needing the other person to give us something, to make us feel a certain way, which is very needy. It's very codependent. And that's usually what creates most of the relationship challenges that we see nowadays.
Yeah, but apparently at the same time, I kind of needed this. I needed. I needed to go through. And wait, I didn't say how was I on the past. I was not a saint. I've been very hard.
Mhm.
And like I just see like what I've done, what I've done in the past. I see repeating right now, and it's
Mhm.
testing me, and it's testing me and testing me. Like, and when you can really see with your own eyes what you've done, and now how you're paying it, when you're able to have the conscious to achieve that, and you do can achieve that through some people. Like I do therapies that do that, and I've seen people healing. So when you're able to touch with such a truth like that, it's really hard to lie to yourself when it's so clear. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
When
Wow. That's deep to know the behind the scene reason why we're experiencing certain challenges or hardships that we experience today in this life, understanding that it's all the fruits of our own work in the past. Like it just creates a next level of humility, like living life with such humbleness, like understanding that there's always a divine reason for why this is happening. And how can we approach it with a love of grace and presence and love and acceptance? Like that is really the work. And then clearing that space, clearing that energy so that we can have a new clean canvas to choose from, choosing something different moving forward. Wow. I'm learning a ton from this conversation.
yeah, and this that I didn't talk about the witchcrafts, right? Because like nowadays, like women, they are like, I'm a witch, I'm this and that and this and that. Be very careful. Be very careful, because we are powerful
Mhm.
and we do stuff. And we gotta be very careful what we do and what we wish and how we work, because it does affect other people's life, and it comes back to you.
Mm,
It does comes back. So if you're a
mhm.
witch, you're listening to this, be very careful with how you use your powers. And me, I choose to do with love, because I know this is gonna come back, and it's gonna come back with love.
Yeah.
And this is very important. Here in United States, maybe you don't have, but in Brazil, we have witchcraft, we have umbanda, we have like things that come from Africa. People do this type of work, and I also heal this type of things, and I see over and over and over how it affects people's life, and it does. It's not
Mhm.
beautiful. It is not love. It's not what is gonna come back. If you
Wow.
if you want to like hold that man or hold that girl or freaking do whatever with that son of your husband, or be very careful. Are you gonna choose true love to you? Or are you gonna just choose something that is not even there for you, maybe?
So it all really boils down to no matter what you're taking away from this conversation, no matter what's resonating with you, but the bottom line really is that being extremely intentional, being so intentional with everything that we do, every word that we speak, every choices that we make, and every moment of every day. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What are you putting out with your energy? Like being so intentional with that, because understanding that it all comes back tenfold, maybe, or
It does come back. And sometimes
yeah.
I feel like, okay, then, so I have to think about every second of what I do, what I do. Chill down. Just love. Just love. Just
Yes, you gotta take it easy too.
gonna be
Don't go crazy.
just love. And it's gonna come back love. It's not
Yeah.
the other part. It maybe you have to walk the dark path to learn whatever. I had to. But now that I
Mhm.
walked, I'm so happy to be here. Like it just multiplies all over me. It's
Mm,
like a beautiful garden that opens to me. So
yes,
so abundant. It's so much more beautiful.
which is in total alignment with the title of this show, Blossoming into You. This is all a garden. We get to desire what we plant in it, and we get to witness what blossoms. When it's time, when it's the season for it to blossom. Oh my goodness. So this has been so fun, Sissa. I have enjoyed every single second of this conversation. And, with the audience tuning in, sometimes, yeah, our conversation will just flow like this, where we get to share and experience each other's blossoming journey, what that's been like for us. And sometimes it's very deep and vulnerable, and it's like intense coaching kind of style. So whatever it is, it's all perfect. And we get to take away something really powerful from every conversation. So I want to say thank you for tuning in today. And Sissa, thank you so much for being the beautiful, radiant presence of the energy that you radiate out. Thank you for standing as a source of love. And thank you for being on here today. Any word you would like to share with the audience before we finish off?
Well, I really believe on the work of my own self, and if not my own self, my friends that do the same work of healing. So I would just like to say that I work this today. I open like my vulnerable side of it, right? But I heal. I check all these blockages. So if this resonated in any way and you feel like, "Oh, maybe I would like to see if there is something there, just come to me or come to any of my coworkers. The name is Meta Hypnose. Unfortunately, I'm the only one that does this in English.
Mm,
This started in Spanish, so it
mhm,
was brought by Alejandro Kaplan. So if you speak Spanish, you can go, have a session with any of my friends. If it's English, here I am. I hope there are more people who speak in English, but this is my path. My path is love. And yeah, I hope I could share a little bit of this today with you.
mm. Amazing. Thank you again, Sissa, for being on here. And thank you everyone for tuning in. If you would like to be a guest on this show, I would more than happy to have you. And there's going to be a link in the comments somewhere below where you can apply to be a guest. And until next time, go out there and have an amazing, amazing day. And sending so much love from my heart and Sissa's heart to you. And see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.